Yo, what's up everybody? Holding Ice with you here, bringing you a vision from my daughter having defeated Demon Lord, episode 5, titled The Little Girl Who's Fascinated by the Snow. This was a very unique episode, very interesting towards the end, but basically Latina, she goes to school, and in school her friend Marcel, the chubby kid with the glasses, he's in a predicament. He doesn't know what to get his father for his birthday. And everyone is giving him different ideas, and Latina, she's looking around, and she's basically thinking, well, I had never gave Gail nothing for his birthday that passed, so she's thinking of trying to get him something as well. And she's kind of bummed out about this, and when she goes back home, Kenneth noticed, and he was like, what's wrong? Did something happen in school again? And she's like, no, it's not that. And he was like, what is it? And she tells him what it was, but unfortunately we get cut off from that, and we move on to the next scene. It's like we got a little time skip from that conversation, and we find out that basically thanks to Dale, that she's actually been working in the pub at nights as an official waiter. So, and she's been getting paid by Kenneth, and she's also learning how to cook, clean, and do other things from Kenneth and his wife, or I think she's a girlfriend or whoever she is, Rita. And she's learning from them, and Dale gets bummed out because he's like, oh man, she doesn't need me no more. She's saving up money because apparently she hasn't been using the money, so she must be saving it. Or does she want to leave me? He's thinking all these negative things and stuff like that. And she's been going to Chloe's house more as well, and every time he comes home early, she's not around because she's been going over there. But luckily we found out what it is. She was using her money that she was making from work to buy materials, sewing materials, so she can sew him a homemade bag. Because Chloe's mom and dad own a store where they make like materials and stuff like that, homemade. So she was learning the skill from them. And Chloe, of course, participated because she saw her best friend doing it, so she didn't feel like being left out, so she was participating as well, even though she doesn't really like sewing and stuff like that. But she basically made like this little pouch, handmade, for Dale, with a little symbol on the edge. We didn't get to see what it was, but we know it was an adventurer symbol, so that was pretty nice. And we have the next scene where Dale goes from super depressed because Latina's, is working and didn't say nothing and saving up money, to being super excited and telling everybody about this. And when this is all going on, we have two guys looking at Latina and saying, is that her? And they're like, yeah, that's her. And they pay their bill and they leave. And 5.Jilvester, or Joe as they call him for short, he notices this and he leaves as well. And everything is fine and dandy after that. And the next day comes, and Dale tells them, I have to leave for a very urgent quest, so I might be back a little late today. But I'm going to try my best to finish it and come back quickly. And Latina was like, okay, see you. And he gave her all these types of rules again of what to do when you go out, not to talk to strangers, be aware of the roof because it snowed, and she was super fascinated with the snow. She was enjoying it a lot. She was even talking about it because she only seen snow in picture books and what people told her, but she never seen it herself. So when it snowed, she was really, really happy about that. But as that progressed, and Dale leaves on his mission, she's there serving everybody their hot cocoa and drinks like that. And the last person she talks to is Joe. And as she's talking to him, he's like, I have to go on my urgent quest that I have. I see you later, because he's still an active adventure. And he leaves, but unfortunately he drops his pouch. And Kenneth and Rita was like, it's fine, just hold on to it. He's going to eventually come back. But because of how close she is to 5.Jilvester and that he just left, she was like, he can't be far. I'm going to go and return it to him. So she breaks the rules of running around in ice, and she runs up to him and she slides. And luckily, 5.Jilvester caught her and she was fine. And she gives back the pouch, and he was like, thank you. I appreciate this greatly. And she turns around and she's like, thank you. And she leaves. And 5.Jilvester was like, are you going to be fine going back by yourself? And she's like, yeah, it's just a straight walk back. And he was like, you sure? She's like, yeah. Then he was like, okay, then be careful, Latina. And she's like, okay, thank you. See you later. And she walks off, and 5.Jilvester just looks at her, and he's kind of like contemplating, is she gonna be okay or not? So she keeps walking and she's like just humming and she's happy and all, until a block of snow falls on the side and kind of like scares her. And then the two guys from earlier are in front of her, and they're like, Missy, can we talk? And she can tell from their magic and their aura that they're bad people, so she runs. Unfortunately, this time she actually slips, and they surround her. One of the guys in the front of her and the other one behind her. And they was like, don't rough her up too much because she's good at merchandise. And then she starts to contemplate, should she use her magic to attack? But then she remembers Dale was like, don't use your magic to attack anyone because you're going to cause massive pain because of how powerful you are. Just let me know when you have problems. So for she's contemplating to attack or not attack. Luckily, they don't get to touch her because Jilvester shows up and she gets up and she runs to him and she just grabs onto him and he notices what's going on and he told the two guys, what are you doing? And they lied and he was like, oh, we were just asking her for directions. And he's like, oh, really? That's going to be your last two words? And he balls up his fist and they get real scared. Luckily, at the nick of time, the police force comes in. We got the captain and I believe like 2 or 3 of his men are with them. And he tells his men, after just taking a glance at the situation and seeing Latina scared and shaking and holding on to Jilvester, he told his guards to arrest the 2 men. And they was like, but we haven't done anything yet. And he was like, oh yeah, really? We need to talk more about that when we get back to the station. And he was like, oh damn it. And the guards took them and left. And he goes up to Latina and he's like, oh, I always wanted to meet you. I heard a lot of good things about you. And she's like, really? And he's like, yeah, from Syrian, my daughter. And then he shows his glove, and at the edge of the glove, he has like a special royal symbol, the same one that she carries on her clothes. And then she went from being scared to being happy because she knows this is a friend of a friend's. I'm the father of her friend. And he's a police at that. So she was not worried no more, especially since not just the fact that he's there, but also the fact that the 2 guys after her was arrested. So that was a cute, good moment between them. But the episode ends with something very strange. A strange conversation between Jilvester and this guy, the father of Syria. Syria states that I was planning on going to the pub to get a drink or two to meet Latina and her family. And then Jilvester applies, if you come by, all the roughnecks are going to be scared and run away. And this is when things get very interesting, the dialogue that come after, which is the reply that the father gives to Jilvester. He was like, it can't be any more scarier than having you around. So, you know, if you notice, like, ever since episode 2 to now, actually, no, yeah, ever since from episode 2 to now, episode 5, these past 3 episodes, there's been something kind of weird about Jilvester. Like, not weird in a bad way, but like in a scary way. And I wouldn't be surprised if Jilvester is probably like a top adventurer, maybe the same high rank as Dale, because we know Dale's a top adventurer. Maybe he's the same rank, or maybe he's even higher. Who knows? Maybe he was a retired police captain or general of an army that retired and became an adventurer. Sometimes in anime RPG stories that happen as well. Again, I won't read the light novel or the manga, so I don't really know much. I'm an anime only, but it's just my thought and opinions from those dialogues alone of the back and forth. But then after that, Jilvester takes her home and bumps into Dale, and Dale gets kind of offended, like, what are you doing, Latina? And he's getting kind of jealous, and he explains what happens, and that's basically the end of the episode. Again, it was a really great episode, great stuff. Very funny, and again, very hyped towards the end, because Jilvester, they've been hyping him up, like, they haven't done it like a straight hype up, but just the way that they keep showing him and the way he talks to everybody and how everybody respects him. You can tell he's gonna be one of those old man anime characters that's gonna be badass later on. So I really can't wait to see what his backstory and what he can do. But that was the episode. Really great episode, really great stuff. I'm loving the Latina stuff. Again, this is a slice of life type of story that's taking place in a fantasy where, so if that's not your thing, you may not like it, but I like the story so far. But let me know how you feel about the story and what is missing, if anything's missing from the light novel / manga, and without any spoilers possible, to me if my theories on Jilvester is right or not, and tell me if I'm pronouncing his name right or not as well. 'cause I was having trouble reading his name, but I believe it's pronounced Jilvester, or Joe for short, as they call him. But yeah, this was a great episode, great stuff. But that's all I have for you guys. Peace out, have a good one.